All right. Well, Dr. Robb, welcome to the podcast, my friend.
Thank you so much. Great to be here. It's going to be good, man.
So we're going to go all in on neuroscience, brain science, all things the brain. I'm really excited. Give us a little bit of a background. Why are you so fascinated by the human brain?
So I used to be an alcoholic. I lost everything: cars, wives, house, kids, everything. Medical license in England. Was homeless with the disease.
You were
Died twice on the
homeless.
streets. Oh yeah, I was homeless. Lost everything. And died twice on the streets. And nobody could tell me what was wrong with me. They just stop drinking. Why don't you just stop drinking? Because you're kids. So during my homeless stay, um, I swore to myself if I ever got off the streets, I was on there for over a year. If I ever got off the streets, I'm going to spend the rest of my life finding out what this is all about: addiction, alcoholism, and now PTSD and all the new stuff that's around. And that's what we did. We've spent over $1 million on researches over 30 years with 11,000 patients. We have a 98% success rate because I was angry when I come off. It's like, why could nobody tell me why I could not stop drinking? And that was it. I mean, everything I say today on here has been tried and tested, researched, trialed by us. We never steal anybody else's stuff. You know, we want to find out exactly what's going on. And we're kind of the leading authority in this. We work with movie stars and musicians and CEOs and all kinds of people that can't actually walk into an open room or therapist. So we're like a concierge service that we own.
I want to ask a little bit more about your story before we jump into the science, if that's okay. Because you very casually mentioned that you died twice on the streets. What's the story there?
So I was drinking myself to death. I was, robbing people to survive, drinking alcohol every day. And I took too much alcohol. I banged my head and apparently my heart stopped. EMT brought me back to life again on a horrible, dirty, rainy side of a road in Manchester. And about 2 months later, it happened again. So the dying on the streets didn't bother me. The dying twice in the streets didn't bother me. It didn't stop me drinking. But this is on the back of, losing my children, stabbing my wife 3 times one night because she wouldn't finish a bottle of vodka. So I had half a bottle of vodka. She snatched it off me and took a knife out and I stabbed her 3 times. So I knew this wasn't a willpower thing. And this has been my bugbear for 30 years. It's like, guys, we got this wrong. So today we build entrepreneurs, we build mega businesses with people. We still do alcoholism addiction, but we rewire brains and reset guys and girls to be their best self, as in family or business. But yeah, that's what we do. But yeah, I say it casually because, obviously I've done thousands of the podcasts. It's just like, that's what happened, man.
I know. It's same with me. I mean, yeah, I had a 15-year addiction to pornography as well, and it took a lot of guts to share about it at first, but I've done it long enough now that I get what you mean. It kind of just comes out, right? So you were a doctor before you kind of lost everything. Did you have to go back and learn new things to do the work you're doing now, or are you kind of just harnessing everything that you learned but properly?
No, everything that we do is not the norm. We don't do therapy. We everything is new, and then we just cover neuroscience and neuroplasticity.
Okay.
So our work's based on that. So everything I knew before, psychology-wise, gone, forgotten about. Obviously, I lost my medical license, became homeless. So, of the homelessness has been this journey that we're not interested in stuff that we know. I'm interested in stuff that we don't know. Why do we have a 98% success rate and a money back guarantee? Nobody else in the world has that. Why? Because we've researched everything and what we know about addiction, anxiety. If you're not successful in business, what we know about that today is mind blowing. Like everybody can recover from anything you're going through, apart from alcohol is no cure, but you can be cured from all the other stuff that people talk about and tell us we can't.
I'm excited to jump in. There's so much to learn from you. You got a lot of wisdom. So I guess one last question, which is before we do that, which is that you said there was that year where you thought, man, if I can get out of this, I'm going to figure out why I got here. Was there a point during your homelessness where you knew I am actually going to get out?
Oh, no, I went to die in the streets. I was done. They took my children off me. I had nothing to live for. I had nothing to live for. So no, it was a huge spiritual awakening I had one morning that dragged me off the streets. But no, I was I was assigned to, I'll die here. Because 98% of people in Manchester and the homeless in the middle of Manchester die on the streets. Like, what? I was happy with that. Yeah, everything was stripped off me. I'd lost everything. I was just hopeless and useless and a drunk and no good to society. And it was absolutely horrible.
Tell me about the spiritual awakening.
Oh, are you sure you're ready for this?
I'm ready
Because
for it. Lay it on me.
okay, so I'm on the streets one night, one morning. I don't, it's like early hours of a morning, and it's pouring down with rain. I'm coming out of a blackout, and I dropped down to my hands and knees, crying. Now I wasn't crying because I'd lost my children or my wife or my money. The first time I realized I couldn't stop drinking, that's why I was crying and sobbing. So I remember looking up to the sky and saying, as an atheist, if there's a God up there, I can't do this on my own anymore. And 30 seconds later, a guy walked around the corner in the middle of nowhere. So he'd missed his last bus home from a Bible study. Okay. And he'd walked home for the first time, took a shortcut that he'd never taken before and came upon me. He took me back to the house. He let me shave, bathe for the first time in a year. And he said, look, I'm a recovering alcoholic, so you can stay here for as long as you want, Rob, but you have to come to these AA meetings with me. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to AA, man. It's absolutely terrible. But it was a bed for the night. So I went the next day. We went to this AA meeting and usual crap started, war stories. And this guy said, my name's John and I'm a recovered alcoholic. And he spoke about that alcoholic's book and he spoke about God and he spoke about philosophy in about 10 minutes. And I'm like, my God. So I walked up to him and I said, hey, John, my name's Rob. Would you sponsor me? And he said, no. I don't sponsor people, but I will be your spiritual advisor for 12 weeks. So every Wednesday, I left Derek's at 6. I got to his house, I had to walk there at 7. I couldn't go in at 5 2 or 4 minutes to. At 1 minute, I had to go up to the apartment on the second floor and ring the bell. So I was there for 7. No matter what happened at 1 minute to 8, mid conversation, he'd walk me to the door, bid me a good night, and I'd walk back home and get home for 9. 12 weeks I was doing that for. On the last time there, he told me things would change and like you've been sent, all the struggle you went through and all this stuff was meant to be. And he said, your life will change from tomorrow. And I said, John, I'm in the basement on Derek's blow-up mattress. Nobody knows I'm there. I disagree with you. The next day, I'm cleaning the house because that's kind of my job. And Derek comes home early, like lunchtime from work. He said, hey, Rob, the guy that sweeps the factory floor has just resigned. Do you want a part-time job? And I'm like, yeah. So I went, turned into a full-time job, not thinking of John right now. And I get my first pay packet. Now my life started to take off. Things are looking really good for me. Uh, and I bought John a little teddy bear and a card. And I wrote in the card, thank you, John, for introducing me to God because he took the compulsion away to drink. And man, I couldn't wait to get to apartment, man. I'm so excited to tell him everything he said has come true. Everything. I got there and the only thing I noticed that the net curtains were a bit dirtier than last time I was there. I knocked on the door, no answer. Knocked on the door so hard that the woman on the right hand apartment came out and she said, can I help you? And I said, yeah, where's John? Is he like moved out or something? And she said, John, who? I said, your neighbor. Oh, I've only been here a month or so. I work nights. I said, okay, no worries. Knocked on the left hand door and big guy comes to the door. What do you want? So where's John moved to? Where's he relocated to? He said, John, who? So the guy next door to you, are you crazy? He went on to tell me that apartment was derelict. It used to have yellow tape on. And if you were to walk in that apartment, you'd drop 2 flights down and probably kill yourself. So I'm thinking these guys are crazy, right? So I goes back to the meeting the next night. And as I walk in, I'm like, I hope somebody recognizes me. And the chairman of all, Rob, great to see you. I'm like, thank God I'm not going mad, Give him a big hug, high five or whatever. And I said, just John still come here. And he said, John who? I said, the guy on the coffee machine, I'm speaking to him, blah, blah, blah. And he said, oh my God, Rob, we thought you were praying because you were kind of talking to yourself, but never found that man. And when I became wealthy, I had the best detective agency in Manchester, England, and they could never find it. What he taught me is part of what I teach today.
Whoa, we could stop the recording right here, man.
Okay,
that story's for real. Oh, wow. I didn't realize we were going to go here in this conversation. I was ready to talk brain science, but you don't know this about me, but I was a pastor before I got into my line of work. And so Yeah, I'm a big believer in God. I'm a big believer in the supernatural, and yeah, that's not crazy to me at all. That sounds like exactly what God would do to someone in your kind of situation. That's amazing.
Right? It's when I look back, like he would tell me about, he would tell me stuff like, uh, so Rob, I want you to remember Isaiah 61. And I'm like, John, I don't read the Bible. I mean, like a singer chorister in the choir. I don't read the Bible. I don't believe in God. No, I don't need you to. Just remember Isaiah 61. Forgot about it almost. Came over to America for 2 weeks only to do a speaking gig. When I got off the plane, I knew I was never going to go back. I met this girl that picked me up. I moved in with her because she was from the church. Beautiful lady. She was unemployed. 3 days after I was there, she gets an interview out of the blue, like a mile from her house. So I said, well, I'm driving you because I want to learn how to drive in America. So I drove around. I dropped her off. And I'm just about to look where I can park. And she comes out and she said, he wants to see you. I said, who wants to see me? The boss, the guy who's interviewing me. I said, I've got shorts and I'm not going in dressed. He wants to see you. So I parked the car. She went back in. I parked the car, went in, I found the place. I walked in. He said, we've been waiting for you. I said, I'm sorry, I had to park the car. He said, no, 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 no. We've been waiting for you. You are a prophet that we've been waiting for. So I'm looking at Sue going, we need to get out of this guy's insane. Okay. So we sat down and we started to talk about stuff. And he said to me, would you come to our church? It's not a traditional church. It's like we built a tabernacle. Would you come and speak? And while he's doing that, he turns to Sue and, oh, you got the job, by the way, start Monday, Sue. Then he's back to me and he said, would you come and speak? So I said, yeah. I shook hands, walked towards the door. And the last minute going through the door, I turned around and I said, oh, Hardy. His name was Hardy Brown. What's your group called? And he said, we call ourselves Isaiah 61. So lots of stuff like that has happened in my life. I died over here. They overdosed me at the hospital in the back. I mean, it just goes on and on and on. So when I say I guarantee people can recover, God told me to guarantee people can recover. That's what John told me. Go around the world and guarantee. I can't guarantee people. People will kill me in AA if I just give you all the armor, which I was. I was a big guy on muscles and I can fight really good. But that's what I did, man. And I've been doing it ever since.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Man. No, this is the perfect way to start this conversation because I really believe the greatest understanding of neuroscience comes first from an understanding of God. That God designed it all. It's made in his image, and
Yeah.
yeah, this is perfect. Great setup. Let's get into some brain science. So, for starters, why did you have to abandon all of your traditional education to do the work that you're doing today with such efficacy?
All right. So psychology is wrong. We don't know. They don't know anything about the brain. Normal therapy, you have no idea. Addiction, alcoholism, all that stuff. We got it wrong. You got it wrong. I got it wrong. Everyone's got it wrong. It's like we went through this period of realizing that the old treatment model was broken. Okay. So just stop drinking, go into a treatment center. They're not going to teach you anything, but it's going to cost you 10 grand. You're going to come out and you're probably going to relapse. So the success rate was 3%. I just wasn't happy with that. I'm a guy, like, I have a restaurant next door. It's a full blown English restaurant. We think English food only, English staff. Now we don't have any. I brought my sister over. We don't have any experience whatsoever in restaurants. And people are going, you got 3%. That's all you got. And most restaurants go under in the first year. We're in our second year. We're 25% up on any other restaurant in San Antonio. I believe that if this is right, you can do anything you want in the world. We've proven it time and time again. So when I started to study the brain in the early days, I knew because this is what happened. I'm outside a liquor store one morning. It's snowing. I'm sweating. If you've got like a t-shirt, pair of shorts and flip-flops, I'm sweating. My hands are shaking and I can't really talk. It's called delirium tremors. It means if I don't get to hospital the next hour or alcohol in me, I'm probably going to die. And I'm outside this shop and this beautiful Pakistani guy, man, he knows that I'm suffering, and every morning lets me in at 5:30. And I don't know what happened this morning, but I went to the counter and I put my money down and he puts the bottle in, the big handled bottle in front of me. And this is what happened. Oh man, thanks so much, man. Headache went, sweats went, shakes went, mood changed instantly. I remember looking at the bottle, not opened. I looked back to the shopkeeper. I looked back to the bottle and I went, oh my God, it's not about the alcohol. And right there, that's what sorted it out.
Mm.
So when I go through sex or porn, I go, everything, it has 1% to do with what's going on. Alcohol has 1% to do with alcoholism. And it's like, oh my goodness, nobody knows this. And as we start to study the different parts of the brain, you know, they reset every 24 hours. The hypothalamus is different in alcoholics are born, drug addicts are made. That when I first did that statement 5 years ago, it shocked the world, but now I lecture to medical fraternities about that. It's like, I'm intrigued. And then when we started, I want to learn more, but more wasn't out there. So when we say we're the leading researchers and leading people in this industry, we are by far. I'll put my life on the line about that because I'm always learning now. I'm learning every day what's different, what's new, what can we do, how can we improve, what else don't we know about the mind. So then I got into the conscious and subconscious mind. Oh my goodness.
Can I pause you there?
Game changer.
Can I pause you? Because yeah, there's just, I want to ask you about I want to get into the subconscious stuff versus the conscious mind for sure. I wanted to ask you though about the brain structure, the brain science. What particular structures, you mentioned the hypothalamus, and I guess I'm just curious, are there any other particular structures of the brain that you have become really focused on in your research?
Yeah, the hypothalamus was the first big one. So why is alcoholism a disease? Because I can't stop drinking, but why? But why? So what we found was the hypothalamus is our survival part of the brain. It tells babies from birth we have to drink water, eat food to survive. That's it. That's our survival instinct. At a certain point of the alcoholic's career, when he's drinking, the hypothalamus hijacks the brain and it tells the prefrontal cortex that if you don't drink alcohol, you will die. That's why we can go days or weeks without food or water. That's why everything, including children, is back there. We don't care. We have to have the alcohol to survive. Now, we know it's to the contrary. So when we look at the hypothalamus hijacking, the survival hijacking the rest of the brain, then we have no choice but to do that. And then when you come to childhood trauma, we link the basal ganglia into that, our repetition, strength, and confirms part of the brain. And we link childhood trauma to almost everything that we go through now. And then we look at the amygdala where that childhood trauma is stored. And of course, the anterior cingulate cortex. I always wondered when I was coming out of trying to change my life, there was conflicts, I was torn. So we looked at the anterior cingulate cortex, the ventromedial prefrontal cortex as well. It's like my coping skills went completely. And every other person I work with, the coping skills, that's direct with the ventromedial prefrontal cortex going through the stress and the childhood trauma shrinking. It's just the hippocampus as well. You know, I was losing my memory. We're also doing work on early onset dementia and Alzheimer's right now, which will look talking to JFK, looking really good. So I couldn't regulate loss of memory. What's that down? It's called the hippocampus. So the hippocampus was also underactive. All these things needed studying, but we spent a lot of money on trial and testing with scientists ourselves. Because if you go to anybody, we could go on the high street right now and we can ask 10 people what alcoholism is, and they'll all say it's somebody who drinks too much alcohol. That's not the case. Then we can say, what is depression? Or somebody who's really, can't do anything. That's not true. That's not true. What the medical fraternity tell us is not true. And you go through all the other stuff that we got intrigued with. It's like, yeah, we kind of got it wrong, but it was just me against the world. When I came over to Texas, they stripped me of my license, saying I was harming people. And I lecture to those guys today, which is kind of insane itself. It's like I was on for something. I was on a God mission. I'm the loudmouth. I'm the English guy in America that people said I couldn't make it. You can't be on Oprah. You can't be on the doctors. You can't do. And my answer is, says who? Says who? Because today I know my identity, I know how my brain works, and I know how science and neuroscience and quantum physics works, and there's nothing you can't do. There's not, unless you have severe brain damage. Like if you want to earn $1 million in the next 1 to 2 years, it's not that hard. Stay insane while you do it. But that's the childhood trauma behaviors while you do it. That's the hard bit. So we need to reroute.
We get in the way.
The brain and make sure it is permanent.
Okay, you mentioned, so hypothalamus, big regulating part of the brain, hippocampus, memory. You mentioned the ventral medial cortex, the anterior cingulate cortex, a bunch of different structures in there. Which of those again, I guess I imagine they all matter, but maybe for our audience, the basal ganglia as well, that was another one. For maybe our audience who isn't familiar with what all these structures do, what they represent, tell us about why they matter in the addiction conversation.
The first one, the hypothalamus, of course, I mean, people still don't know the medical fraternity, but the hijacking was important. And then the basal ganglia is who we hang around with, and what we do as a repetitive action becomes a working part of the brain, which we thought was interesting. So we did a lot of testing and trialing around that, and found out that show me your friends, I'll show you your future. It's like monkey see, monkey
Mm,
do. Like
mm,
what we are around us is who you'll become. So how
mm,
do we know that? Well, our experiment was in our reception was to bring 9 actors in, rational actors, and pay them. We paid them to sit down in the waiting room and pretend they were patients. And then we had one patient who was coming in just for, for the new 9D breathwork thing we've got. And they were told every 45 seconds or so, there's going to be a buzzer. And I want all the 9 actors to stand up a few seconds and then all sit down together. And this will continue until every one of you is called in. We got it. All the room was set. The woman walked in, she sat down, she's on the phone. Ah! All 9 people stood up. This is what she did because they're real focused on it. Bang, bang, back to her phone again. Second one. Ah! Everyone stood up. Now she puts the phone down in the lap and she's looking around. Third, she stood up with everybody else and she sat down with everybody else, which was interesting. We knew that was going to happen. One by one, we called the actors in as if they were patients, and she was there on her own. She stood up. So one person cannot change 9 people, but 9 people, especially with subliminal working, can change one person without you even knowing it.
right. And the changes last beyond your presence around those 9 people.
Correct.
So powerful. I've heard about that study, Dr. Robb. I had no idea that you were the one that conducted it. That's
Yeah,
absolutely
yeah,
brilliant. And it
yeah.
also speaks to the power of community as well, right? Like the power of having the right people around you to get you in the direction you want to go. If you want to quit pornography, get in the community of people that are quitting pornography. If you want to earn more money, get around people that are making more money. Like it makes sense.
It really does. I was in Dallas for 14 years. I've been here for about 18, 19 years. I came to Dallas for 14 years. I was doing amazing, doing fantastic. And I said to my friends, I'm thinking of writing a book. And they went, you can't write a book. Rob, you're not an author. It's such a story. I never wrote a book. I came to San Antonio 4 years ago and I said to my new guys, I'm thinking of writing a book. Well, I thought one of them was going to punch me in the face. He went, you haven't wrote a book? What is wrong with you, Rob? And the other guy's like, oh my God, I would definitely read it. So I wrote a book. And that's me after 30 odd years of experience in this. It still happens around us. It's like what we see is how we feel. And even though
Mm,
feelings are not real, but you watch a sad movie, you feel sad. You see guys
yeah.
around you succeeding, you're going to succeed.
Mm,
There's power with the mind. So when we reroute neural pathways and we repattern them, so 300 neural pathways die every day. What are you replacing them with? All thought patterns, all behavior. But when we rewind that, and you have a spiritual, because the mind, you can't see it, touch it, feel it, but sits inside the brain, mind over matter. When this power, energy, connects with another power and energy and repatterning happens, your DNA changes.
your DNA
Microphone drop,
changes.
walk out. Yeah. Yeah.
Like your phenotypic DNA, I guess, like what's being
Oh, yeah.
expressed.
Yeah. Changes. Now, it is slight, but it changes. So what does that mean to the layman? You ain't the same person when you leave as when you come here. We build champions. We build all these guys. We build athletes. We're working with the government. All this stuff that we're really excited about. But yeah, it's new science, man. It's a game changer.
It's unreal. It's unreal. So the basal ganglia, talk about the two different parts of the prefrontal cortex. I think you mentioned the ventral medial part.
Yeah. So the ventral medial part is kind of our coping skills and stress level. So what is stress? Well, stress is the inability to manage one's day. You're either future tripping, anxiety, or you're depressed, looking at the past of what happened. So with the ventromedial prefrontal cortex, the idea, how do we cope better and how do we lower the stress? Well, our research shows that you have to bring it down to 24 hours. Now you have to bring it down to now. So once we start living in the now, it's a game changer. All the noise
Mm,
stops around you and you can see stuff that's always been around you. But with these underacting or overacting when it comes to hippocampus, the brain and the mind cannot see all the gifts around us because it's not functioning properly. All that comes down to anxiety, comes down to addiction, comes down to porn, sex, food, PTSD, whatever it is, it interferes with them four parts of the brain. And what we find is 90% of people in the US are walking around about 45 to 50% of their capability because they haven't figured this out. They just think, oh, well, this is my life. And it's not. Our childhood trauma is the gateway drug. So everything you do today in life, if you can't keep relationships, you can't keep jobs, if your business keeps failing, right back to the childhood trauma piece that put that there. I often say, if you don't believe you can be a millionaire, if you don't believe you are the best in the world in what you do, I want to apologize to you because somebody's put that there. Babies are born with two fears: falling, loud noises. That's it. Where do we get the fear? Wait till your father gets home. I'm telling you now, if you don't, that's where the fear comes from. So we become adjusted to fear because of our parents. That's where we first see it. So there's all things going on with the toddlers. Like mom says, don't put your hand on the stove. We do it and it burns. What does a kid learn from that? Whatever mom tells me is true. Whatever dad tells me is true. So then we go out in the world believing that what people tell us is true. That's the dysfunction straight away moving out to the world. So we get a young girl, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 in a house where dad comes home 2 or 3 times a week and get into a fist fight with mom and she's watching this. The next morning they get up. Oh, I'm sorry about last night. Oh, yeah, I love you. Oh, I love you too, babe. Thank you. So what she learns is violence equals love. So when she grows up, she will attack that person, attract that person that ends up beating her. And it's just, you can see the pattern on and on. Yeah. That's part of the basal ganglia thing is when you get used to something, we stay there. We stay in marriages too long. We stay in jobs too long, relationships too long, because that becomes a comfort zone for us. It becomes a safe, even though it's painful and it hurts, it's still a safe place that we can go. And that's what human beings do. It's like we've got to pull out of that.
Is the basal ganglia also kind of what creates these rituals around our vices? Yeah. Okay. Like it's kind of what creates that routine, the habit. Because I mean, anyone who's been addicted to anything knows there's always a ritual. There's always some sort of repetitive behavior that's associated with it, right?
So everybody has an addiction, period.
True.
Yeah. But it's what the addiction is. But yeah, we do it so much. Like, look at pilot. He needs 10,000 hours in the air before he can fly a commercial jet. So he can do it that many times. He can do it blindfolded. Then obviously working part of the brain and he can do it blindfolded. But yeah, it's the same thing. Everything is in patterns. Everything. So you can either create a good pattern when the subconscious mind wakes you up in the morning because this guy loves it when there's no oxygen around. So we have to pump this guy here and get rid of this guy for 24 hours. Then we're going to have a fantastic day. But we have to look at exactly what's going on. You get up in the morning, we have 3 things that we tell our patients to do that changes the whole day. But because some people go, no, that's not true, Doc. If you've ever been on an outing, let's say you hire a bus and there's a bunch of you going to the seaside, a bunch of men and women, you get down there, you have a few drinks, you have a fantastic day, you relax, you get back on the bus, which seat do you sit in? It's usually the one you went there in. And there are billions of patterns that we do and we have no idea we're doing it. It's about breaking them patterns, realizing them patterns. And that was comes from childhood trauma and trauma along the way. So when you break all that down, we're really looking at fundamental injury. We came up with a sentence that was still not popular, but it's 100% true. Anything less than nurturing as a child is child abuse. My professor sent me to the zoo for the primates for a year. I didn't get Christmas off. A year. 300 a year to watch the chimpanzees and the gorillas and the apes to find out exactly what's going on. 98% of our communication is non-verbal. It was so interesting. And you see children today coming home straight on the Game Boy, straight on the computer, straight on the iPhone. Our communication, our intimacy with another human being is gone. Them days are gone, man. Absolutely.
What should we be doing then? I got a 21-month-old and I got another baby on the way, and my wife and I plan to have a couple more. What advice do you give to maybe try to be a little bit more preventative about some of the stuff we're discussing?
There's loads of things. I mean, nurturing is the best. Everyone has to work. But if you watch the apes, how they nurture the young and they play, and every time we get off and away, that do that nurturing, grow up the right way. Don't bring them up on iPhones and iPads. Obviously they may need one day, but not everything is online. The communication, the laughter is just parents get freaked out when they have the first child. It's all serious and they're trying the best and they have to have the best of everything. And it's like, chill out, man. This is fun. Unfortunately, there's no handbook on having children. But if you as a person hang around good people, which I would bet $1,000,000 you are, then that teaching of behavioral science will go down to your children, which is brilliant,
Yeah. Yeah. It makes a lot of sense. Tell me about the unconscious versus the conscious mind.
Oh God, it goes. Guys, sit down if you're not sat down. This is beautiful, man. Subconscious mind is what all the bad stuff, memories and stuff, lay. You do not forget anything. It's all stored. Trillions and trillions and trillions of memories and acts and sounds and smells and all stored in the subconscious brain. Very, very fascinating. So any kind of decision you make can either be based on the subconscious or the conscious brain. So if you're still in trauma, if you're still depressed, if you're still actively drinking, using porn, sex, whatever it is, the decision to do that is from the subconscious brain. So here's the bad news, guys. During a normal circadian sleep pattern, between 2 and 5 a.m. in the morning is when the body is at its lowest. The oxygen is low because the body is in full repair. It's also when people die of natural causes. So 2 and 5, we wake up, 6, 7, whatever wake up, subconscious brain wakes us up. This guy will wake you up every single day because it thrives in hypoxic situations. You ever notice when you get something bad or something happening and then your breath starts to shorten and it's the same thing with the subconscious. It wakes us up every morning. Now that guy wants you to kick your toe, step on the dog, lose your job, have a bad day, cheat with the wife, whatever it is bad, that guy's ready to go, man. And he wakes up first in the morning. How do we get rid of this guy? Because we really need the conscious mind to do this. But how do we do that? Is that even humanly possible? Well, remember, the conscious brain loves oxygen. The presence of oxygen equals a lack of disease. The subconscious brain loves where there's no oxygen. What we do in the morning when we get up is we do our 20 exaggerated breaths in and out. Really, really go for it. One of the reasons why people call the runners high or you feel great going to the gym is not the weights. It's this in between sets because we're getting the oxygen. We only breathe 45% of our lung capacity. So everything good is not working. We walk around in this fog most of our lives. Sit down when you do it. This is a game changer, guys, from tomorrow. Do your 20 exaggerated breaths. What happens is, bang, the conscious brain thriving. Now you can go out and do anything today. Everything's going to be great. It's going to be a 10 out of 10. You're going to have a great day every day, which I've had great days for 35 years. Okay. But have a guess who wakes you up tomorrow? This guy again. So it's a daily thing. The 3 parts of the brain talks about reset every 24 hours. So if you're coming from the conscious brain, everything you do is going to be good.
Can you do that more regularly if you catch yourself 100%. Super dysregulated in the middle of the day?
100%. Yeah, there's 2 things you can do during the day. You can do the breath work again, and you can start your day anytime you want. There's no rules about that. If you start your day 5 p.m., walk into the bathroom. If you brush your teeth with your right, brush your left for a week, right for a week, and do that month alternative. We're breaking patterns. We're breaking set patterns away from the self-sabotaging that's happening. Self-sabotage does not happen when I pick the drink up or I start watching porn. It's a week before when the relapse happens. So by doing this, it will change up. The most important one is our mirror work. So you stand 6 feet away from the mirror, you lock yourself, and now we're banging the subconscious brain. I love you, I love you, I love you, out of 10 times looking at yourself. Do not stand less than 6 feet. And here's the reason why. When we're shaving or girls putting makeup on, we see all our blemishes when we're this far away from the mirror. Okay. The last time you were in the office, hey, Jimmy, good. We don't do that. But when you stand 6 feet away, the optical illusion is all the blemishes disappear. Now, why is that important? It gives you so much confidence when you go out. You're not concentrating the zit here or the crease there. You've stepped away. You can't see that, man. So you go out already ready to go, already gonna make this day the best day ever. That's why I said at the beginning, this is going to be the best podcast that me and you have ever done because we're going to make it that way. So if I tell you a lie, you might believe it. If I tell you a lie often enough, you're going to believe it. But guess what? If I tell you a lie real often enough, I'm going to start to believe it. And that's mind-boggling.
Man, when I designed Deep Clean, which is my program that helps guys quit pornography, one of the things that got a lot of attention in the recovery space was a thing that we call mirror therapy. And it's literally exactly what you just talked about. It's not just saying affirmations into thin air. It's
Yeah.
actually looking at yourself in the eyes. And we have a faith-based element. So, we kind of harness truths from scripture. And again, because it adds to that belief, right? If it's from an authority, a credible source, you're going to trust it, you believe it, and it's gonna implant deeper in the subconscious, deeper into your heart. I believe even into your spirit. So that's quite something to hear you mention that as well.
Yeah, it's deep. So I've never seen an atheist sober, not a real alcoholic, never seen it. You have to have that connection. It's a game changer. It's an absolute game changer. And if you don't, if you're a real alcoholic or addict, you're going to die, man. I'm telling you now. Yes, good for you, man. I'm so happy for you. God bless you. Okay. But I'm telling you now, we can't work with you, first of all. And I can't say you're not going to ever recover, but you might do, because you might not be a real alcoholic or porn or food or sex. You might be just playing with it or abusing it and stuff like that. But at the end of the day, you need that conscious contact with God. End of story.
100%. Yeah, full stop. You mentioned a few minutes ago the value of just shaking up a habit. So if you're normally brush with your right, brush with your left. What does that do? Why would that be valuable for somebody who's trying to break an addiction?
We have then patterns around us that the neural pathways are sent to self-sabotage based on the childhood trauma. So let's say it's smoking, for instance, you get up and there's the routine around that smoking. So the pathways, it's a bit like a freeway, that comes to like a V. So this is the old I-65. This is the new I-71 that they're just building, but we always go to the left. We follow it to the left. All the stuff that we do, we're never going to stop. We have to start to build these neural pathways off. And the idea is you use these on a daily basis. And this guy here, if it's a freeway, it gets bricks on it, moss on it, and you can't travel it down. Hence, permanent recovery. And you build this up. But it's like saying that the freeway coming out of your city, or let's say the freeway to go to work in your city is 65. Okay. You take 65 every single day. Why? You know it. It's normal. Is the traffic on it? Oh my God, the traffic is terrible. But you still take it because it's a working part of the mind. What we ask you to do is go down the side roads. We're going to take you down the side roads. Now, at first, it's going to be longer. It's going to be difficult. Okay. But in a few weeks, you're going to be able to travel down them faster, quicker, and you will never travel the freeway ever again because this is great for you. You love it. And that's how you permanently recover.
It's kind of like running water, right? Like the first time water runs in a place, like it's not perfectly carved. The water maybe splishes, splashes, whatever. But if water keeps running enough, eventually it becomes a stream, which becomes a river, and it becomes fortified.
Yeah. So it's that repetition again of anything that we do. It's like when we drive a car, when we first learn to drive a car, it's awkward. The guy's next to you, you're trying to, oh my God, the car's so big. But after a few weeks and months, you pass your test. Now you can drive reverse down the driveway, talk to your girlfriend, wave to mom, and listen to music at the same time because the repetition has become a working part of the mind.
Yes.
That's how it becomes. And you'll never forget how to drive, just like you'll never forget that porn is bad, alcohol's bad. You stay away from that. If we can fix the week before the relapse, you're never going to relapse. I don't give a damn what your addiction is, and everybody has one.
I
I don't care
totally
what it
agree.
is. You'll never go down there again. And this is what the
Yeah.
industry was suffering from: is once an alcoholic, you can't recover from it. And it's not true. So there's no cure. There's a cure for addiction and depression, 100%. There's no cure for alcoholism because of the hypothalamus and basal ganglia differently. But there's no cure for food poisoning or the common cold. But we're going to give you a few easy steps to make sure that you never get alcoholism or anything like that again, because it's always the week or 2 weeks before when the relapse happens. It's never, hey, Rob, should we have a drink tonight? Oh, yeah. No, it never does that. It gives you warnings well before. And your behavior, when you study behavioral science, when I was studying behavioral science, I realized, yeah, there's a lot more to this. And the body gives us warnings, like experience. The brain gives us warnings, brain spotting, all these things and tools that we use today to say, hey, here's the relapse right now. Why are you pissed off? Why are you annoyed at that guy? Because he got now. And if we can do that, we've captured it. Well, we've done that and we've captured it. And it's beautiful.
Yes. What's your best piece of advice to somebody who's carving a new neural pathway and they're in the early days where, like you said, it's difficult because the old pathway is the familiar one. The new one doesn't feel comfortable, doesn't feel as easy. How do people persist long enough until it does become easier?
So most patterns that you change, people won't like. They'll just not. So you have to learn the repetitive action is you can get up every morning and do it at 8 o'clock. That's good, but you've got to number one, you've got to stop giving what people think about you, because people around you, people in general, don't like change, man. You know, and you just got to be constant. If you do something, anything for a period of time, probably about a week or 2 weeks, it'll become a working part of the brain. So keep going at that. You've got to be, if there's one thing that people ask me that question, you've got to be dedicated. You've got to be really, really hard on yourself to keep that routine up, you know, and then you'll see the routine become easier and easier, working part of the mind. You'll do it every day, man. If I'm sat on the couch tonight, I got a big, bag of popcorn, which I don't eat, chips here, which I don't eat, a can of cola, which I don't drink, and I'm watching TV with my wife, and I see Arnold Schwarzenegger comes on, and I turn to him and I'm going to the gym tomorrow. I ain't going to the gym tomorrow. I know it. She knows it. The two dogs are like me. I don't think so. Even the cat's walking past and going, he ain't going to the gym. But within the 7.3 seconds time frame that we created, if I get up right there, I walk into the bedroom, I get my sneakers and t-shirt, I get the bag, I either put it in my car or near the door, there's a good chance of me going. Once it breaks that 7.3 second time frame, it's gone. It's gone. We're busy. We're da-da-da-da. You've got to do it straight away. So if you're sat there going, something, I've got this idea for a business, maybe I should build a website, right there. Stop, go and GoDaddy, search the name, find it for like $10, buy, and that's the step forward to that within the 7.3 seconds. We do not have time. Everyone thinks you don't have time, man. Hey, just wait for you. 1 minute I'm waving off to kindergarten, the next minute I'm waving off to college. That's time. You don't have time. Do it now. Buy that car, date that girl, start that business now. Now. Do it now. And do it. Start believing that money's always a quick one. It never brought me happiness in the end, but money's an easy one to explain. If you want to make $1 million, start acting like you already have $1 million. Get into your car as if it was a Bentley. It might be a 20-year-old, Ford or something. Makes no difference. Walk to work. Stick your head up as if you own the place. Not cocky. Very, very confident. Talk to God. Get a game plan. Ask him for stuff. You've got to live the life before you get the life, if that makes sense. See, I had to dream what I was doing today and focus before I even got it. Because nobody's coming, guys, by the way. If you're waiting for somebody to come to the door, knock on the door and go, hey, there's $1 million check, Rob, are we good? If you're waiting for that girl, nobody's coming, okay? Nobody's coming to save you. But you have to realize that you have the power, and a capital P here, guys. You have the power to change the freaking world, and don't let anybody tell you different. There's two kinds of people in this world, guys. The guys that love you for who you are and the guys that want to be you. And you might go, the guys that want to be you. That's it. And you have a mindset like that, you cannot fail.
Wow.
Man, we're doing it today.
It's good. It's really, really good. I like the practicalities, right? Like just thinking of applying some of this neuroscience because it's good. It's really, really good, really important. Tell me a little bit about this. This really blew my mind. I heard this probably 6-7 years ago. But I heard somebody say, and I think you would agree with this based on what I've heard you teach so far. A circuit in your brain can only change when it's active. And so a lot of people it's the information age, right? We soak up all this information and we think that we're somehow better off, but people live more powerless, they're more miserable, in some cases maybe more impoverished, whether that's financial means or something else, because knowledge is not power, right? It's the actual action taking that you're talking about. That's where real power happens. And I'm just wondering, I guess, to contextualize a little bit more of what you're saying, why is that 7.3 second window so important? What's going on in the brain that makes the action taking in that small window so critical?
Neural pathways are thought patterns. Okay, there are billions in the head. Once you get a new thought pattern, it lasts around 7, and then all of a sudden it disappears, and the old neural pathway takes over. So 300 neural pathways die every single day. What are you replacing them with? Now, if you want to build a business while you're just dreaming of it, it doesn't become true. But that action towards it changes the brain completely because it's not you. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Yeah. Then yeah, guys don't go anywhere, man. Everyone in a comfort zone never gets anywhere. If you want to change the world, because that's what we're meant for, you have to constantly be changing the pathways, constantly be rebuilding different pathways, always become teachable. So then first thought patterns are very important because I don't know how many, I think there's like 5,000 thoughts every 2 or 3 minutes coming in. You need to capture the ones where you, like say you're a musician, you want to teach people that's your forte in life. God always gives us a forte in what we can specialize in. He gives you so much stuff. We don't see it with everything going on, the noise. It gives you so much stuff to create that empire you're building so you can help others. The best thing you can do is let's give him a hand. Thought pattern,
Mm.
get up and start moving. That's all he wants you to do. You see, it's like sat in a car with power steering, but the engine's off. You can't move that car. That's me sat in the car that's going, yeah, I'll do it tomorrow. When you start the engine and move forward, the power steering is like it's very light. So I have to be moving forward in life for God to direct me. And He isn't going to get me off the couch. God gives us choices. We have to get
Yeah.
off the couch. We have to get up and make it happen. And once you
Yeah.
start doing
Yeah.
that, the subconscious brain goes, whoa, I don't like this. And the conscious brain goes, I don't care what you like. I'm in charge now. I'm the daddy. Get up and do it. And you'll be aghast how this works, man. It's like, oh, this is all woo woo. Hey, try the morning stuff and tell me your body hasn't changed. It's an impossibility, a human impossibility biologically and psychologically not to change that day.
Yeah, and I think that's the really important thing because I do think the message about taking action is getting out there. I think people get that to some extent. Okay, I need to act on it, but then maybe you can even talk about this a little bit. I think a lot of people don't take action in the name of perfectionism, because it's got to be right. I don't know if it's the right timing. I don't know if it's maybe the right set of circumstances. I don't know if I'm the right person for it. And I actually just did a post in my inner circle community earlier today talking about the importance of showing up. We've had a guy on a call the last 2 weeks. We always share wins at the start of our calls. And his win the last 2 weeks has been, I showed up. He's like, I didn't feel like doing it. I didn't want to be here. I was talking myself out of it. I had 7 other things that I could have been doing, but I'm here. I showed up. That's my win. And I was just talking about the importance of that. Like there's a guy who's still taking action. He's carving that new pathway, right? It doesn't feel natural. It doesn't feel comfortable. He's doing it anyway. So taking action, but then taking action speedily. Talk somebody off the ledge who's like, okay, Dr. Rob, that's great, but I want to take action and make sure it's right because what if I make a mistake? What if it's not perfect? What if it doesn't work out?
Yeah. Well, first of all, guys, you are never ready. Okay. We're never ready for a baby. We're never ready for, start on, or if somebody laughs at us, what if he doesn't make it? What if it does? First of all, let's get that out of the way. Okay. You're never ready. If you look around where you are right now, so you have a decision to make that you want to build an empire, you've got to look around with all the signs right now. Have you just lost your job? Are you miserable? Did you not get that promotion? See, God gives us all these signs around us and the gut feeling, oh, we could sit here for the next 5 years talking about this and you still won't understand. The gut feeling is real. It was a God given feeling going back to the tribal days. When the tribesmen got a gut feeling, they knew it was either danger, the things were going to, they either get ready to fight or they'd run. Listen to that gut feeling. That's all. It's always 100% right every single time. So if something comes to you, you've not just waltzed into it by mistake. Now, a business opportunity, you've obviously got to weigh up and start doing your due diligence, obviously. But when you have a gut feeling, like to start your own business, man, the first thing you do is step towards it. And what's going to happen? You keep the other job and you start. We had a guy come to us some years ago and the wife had left, he was done, the kids don't see him, he was suicidal. And, I saw him personally myself. And I said to him one day, I said, what do you do for a hobby? You must have a hobby. And I can't tell you, man. You'll laugh. I'm not laughing. What is it? I knit socks. So wow, what for? Birthdays, Christmases. I love knitting. And he got excited. You could see him getting excited. I just love it. That's okay. I'm going to buy your website. I'm going to get you business cards. I'm going to get all that stuff. I want you to sell one pair of socks in the next 2 weeks. Can't remember the time frame. He sold three. That guy now owns the biggest sock company in the world. You know, the one where you buy a pair of socks and they give one away. Can't mention any names, but that's the mindset. Find out what God's given to you. Find out your niche. Don't believe a 9 to 5 normal job is your fault. It's not. This is not it. Well, this is me. No, it's what? You just got all the experience that you've been through, working a 9 to 5, getting frustrated, all that stuff, and you take it in. God gives us that package. Like my homelessness was like a semester at Harvard University. Just check that and becomes your greatest asset going forward. If you ever have a feeling, you should do it. And try and listen to that gut feeling. It's always there, but you have to be still and really start listening to it, and the answer comes. It's like, how can you fail? Well, what if a star and it doesn't take off? Oh, okay then. Does that mean it's failed? Well, go and speak to the Beatles. Go and speak to J.K. Rowling, who got turned down so many times. She's living in a little projects, 1 bedroom apartment, and she was told that she could never write because she's stupid. She goes back home and look after your kids. The first billionaire woman author. And there's millions of stories like that. So start believing in yourself, man. Your preconception of you is based on other people. It's based on what other people have told you and think about. You can change that. You can't change the people around you, but you can change the people around you. You can change that. If somebody in your circle doesn't take you serious, get rid of them. If somebody does that passive aggressive, I've just lost 157 pounds over the last 18 months. And he had a so-called friend 2 or 3 weeks ago. Hey, Robert, so you putting weight on? No, he's gone. See, that wasn't a grudge. That was a boundary. I don't need any passive aggressive crap in my life, thank you. I need guys that are going to have my back. I need guys that see my vision and vice versa. I need guys who believe in God. I need family guys around. I need guys that are changing the world. That's my forte. And everybody has a forte that God has given you, something that you're brilliant at that you just haven't found yet. But when he gives it to you with that gut feeling and takes away the noise around you, it's your right, guys, to build that empire. How can you fail? I mean, you can't fail.
It sounds to me like maybe at the core of all this, if you want to change your life, if you want to change your brain, if you want to step into everything that God's called you to, you actually need to slow down. Like there's so much noise, there's so many voices in our head. And what you said is so true. Like these voices they're not even real sometimes. They're just voices that we've gotten used to hearing. They're thoughts that we've reinforced. And they're so loud in our head. We've made friends with them. They're all familiar. But if we can slow down, if we can engage with the presence of God, if we can let him actually speak to us, some of these things start to become a lot clearer. Can you talk a little bit about that sock story is so powerful? Somebody who actually knew their forte was just maybe a little bit ashamed of it or didn't think it was a forte. How does somebody know this is my forte? Let's say that they're doing this, the first part, they're slowing down, they're trying to let God speak to them. Because I feel like I just found my forte the last maybe 5-6 years. I love teaching. Teaching is just my thing. You give me a whiteboard, you give me a classroom, you give me a group of people. I love educating people on a subject. How do people find their own forte?
You have to focus on what's around you, and you have to focus on something that you love. If you tried something, you love it, you're natural at it. That's probably it, man. But you've got to watch the internal dialogue. The internal dialogue will smash 99% of dreams. Just remember one thing, guys. We're never going to be tall enough, blonde enough, thin enough, or rich enough. It's just not going to happen. Just like you're never going to be ready. It's like, I get the remote control. The Cowboys are my team because I live in Texas. I get the remote control. I put on channel 4. The Cowboys are playing. Now I'm in the game because the brain doesn't know the difference between the truth and the false. It really doesn't. Okay. So I'm shouting at the referees and come on, my brain thinks I'm there. My brain tells me that referee can hear me screaming at the TV. My mind, yeah, oh my God. And then my 6-year-old son takes a remote control and starts going around the remote control. And all of a sudden I realize that there's 300 other channels around and I've lost it. And all of a sudden the idea of Forte is take the freaking remote control back. Channel 4. And focus on that one thing. And you'll find it if you get still. You cannot listen with noise around you. You have to get away, sit there and listen. Let's talk and listen to God. Meditation and prayer. Talk and listen to God. He's up there. Just talk to him, man. And he will reveal all. The only reason why he wouldn't is if you're trying to be I'm the man, I'm the leader and all that, and you're sleeping with the wife, or the best friend's wife next door or something, it isn't going to happen. You see, the hardest thing for me, because I come from the projects, from nowhere, was handling that situation when I become known and when I started to become wealthy. It's like when 25, 26-year-old girls start giving you their phone number because you just spoke and lit up the whole room. You have to take that for what it is. Is it a compliment? Yeah, fantastic, great. But I can't take an info and start texting them behind my wife's back because all this stuff I've got will go. That's the hardest part for any man and woman. I would imagine. Yeah. It's okay talking it, you have to walk it. You can't do, you're either in or you're out. You're either pregnant or you're not with God. He doesn't do half measures. So if you're in, it's nice to get. It's nice to get the compliments. It's nice to get the women, messaging me, say, "Oh, you look amazing." It's great. My wife, she's there. We take the phone numbers home, give it to my wife. We have a laugh together. It's like, Rob, you're 64 and this 25. I know, right? Did she see your Bentley outside? Yeah, she saw my Bentley. Did she see you? You know what? Yeah. So we laugh and go, it's all about the money, but you've got to stay focused, man. You've got to stay what God wants you to be. You can't play all these other games with the devil because God is not a jealous God to a certain degree, but he captures your attention real quick. Real quick. Like if you're struggling with an addiction and you think you've got it and everything's going great, and then you start doing some bad stuff behind people's backs, he'll take that right back. Happened to me more than 10 times in my life.
Yeah. Yeah, you reap what you sow, right?
Yeah, of course, man, of course. And part of our deal is this, and it's worth mentioning to the entrepreneurs that are going to come, and I'll explain about our breath box and change you into whatever. But you've got to really concentrate on who you are. You've got to concentrate on the things around you and what you were meant for, and you can't start listening to things and noise around you that'll get you nowhere. We're born to change the world. That's it. We're not born to be mundane. We're not born to, God wants to be prosperous. He wants to lead. Oh, I can't lead. And yes, you can. We had a mother last week. She's 28 years old, two little children. Husband's a bomb, left her with a one-bedroom projects apartment. And she said, I don't know what to do, Dr. Rob. And I went, oh my God, I'm so happy for you. And she went, what? I said, you at a crossroads? She went, yeah. I said, fantastic, man. I'm so happy for you. This is where God wants you. You're going to do so many great things. And we tell everyone that, and so they do. Listen, stop thinking we know everything, be teachable. So here's the part for entrepreneurs that start, doing well is 25% of our income, and we're a multi-million-dollar company, go back into the streets and the projects around Texas and England and the rest of the world, and the rest of America, sorry. So America and the UK, we give 25% of our back. We literally give $150,000 out of my bank account to homeless people. If the guy's lost his kids, he wants to get them back 2 days a week visitation, we'll pay for his lawyers, we'll pay for his court fees, we'll get into court in a nice suit. We will pay 12 months on an apartment so he can bring his kids back. All that stuff is number one. Okay. The rest is noise, and the wife pays the bills and keeps her happy. It's not why we're in this game. You've constantly got to be looking for that person that needs a smile, needs help, needs anything to enhance them. If you're in conversation with anybody and they're not leaving you without feeling 100 times better, you're doing it wrong. You selfish son of a frog. You're doing it wrong. Everybody you come in contact must walk away with a smile on your face because you guys are the leader. If you think you're listening to this by mistake, hang on.
No, that's it, man. That's it.
It's not happening. You're listening
to
this.
Not an accident.
Time for you to wake up if you haven't already. Stop putting the brakes on your imagination. God's got a full throttle ready for you. It's provided the Porsche 911 for you, man. And you don't want to get in it because you're scared of crashing it? What? Get in that bad boy, rev it to the bottom, take that drive, let him steer. It's going to take you in all directions, man. And you need to be confident to be ready for it. When we get guys there that are building, businesses, I take them to the Porsche dealerships. I sit them in it, we test drive it. Then we go to the $1 million house, we walk around that. And the reason for that is we're preempting what God has for us. So when he gives us that stuff, I don't turn up at the Porsche dealership, oh, I don't know too much. It's a lot of money. What my brain says when I go into the dealerships, this is familiar. We've been here before, Rob. And there's no backlash or guilt or second thinking because the brain's connected with a past memory when you were there.
So this is actually, you just put some language to something that I've been a big proponent of for a long time, which is for the guys in our audience that are struggling with pornography. One of the things I always encourage them to do is to listen to stories of other people that have recovered, because your brain needs the reminder that it's possible. earlier we were talking about how your brain doesn't know the difference between an image versus reality. It's all reality to the brain. So there's a second layer, which is that when you listen to the stories of, stories and testimonials and whatever, you're actually inserting yourself in there. You get to kind of experience it for yourself. But now you just added a third part of it to me, which is that it actually creates familiarity with a reality that is not yet, I guess, imminent in your life, but it could be one day, and it will be one day, obviously, if you take those steps, so that when you're there, you don't sabotage, you don't feel like you don't belong. There's a recognition of, yeah, I've already tasted it, I smelt it, I felt it,
Yeah.
and now it's mine.
100%. And when you leave that dealership, well, we just take you around for an hour, you feel different, completely different straight away. So
Yeah,
you have to
true.
preempt what's about to happen, because if you're doing the right thing and everything we talked about today, it will happen. There's no doubt about that. But this self-sabotage comes straight from untreated childhood trauma. So I always suffered from the imposter syndrome. So I went to the showroom, the salesman walks over, he sees my shoes and stuff, and he goes, nah, you can't afford it. So I'm going to treat him like a second class citizen. And what I do is I accept that and then I feel second class. So when I buy my cars, um, I walk into the dealership with scruffy sneakers on, pair of shorts, and an old t-shirt that's 3 days old. I take any watch or anything else off that I have, and I walk in, I'm ready to buy it. And if they're authentic and they believe in God themselves, they'll treat me like a first class human being. I just bought,
Yeah, that's right.
I just bought a new Bentley. I can't tell how much I paid for it. Same thing there. I walked in, just dressed normally. And the guy came over and said, hey, how are you? I said, I'm great. I was looking around. Brilliant. Come on, let me. Hey, look at that. Do you want to test drive it? And he was on it. And I bought it,
Mm,
but a lot of people would say, hey, just look at me. And I was sick of people judging me when I was on the streets or spitting on me and walking over me. And kids used to throw soiled diapers at me where I was unconscious in the streets or something. Sick of all that, man. That your past does not define who you are today. Your weight does not define who you are today. Your height, your color, your hair, it doesn't define who you are today. What defines who you are today is what God has made you into to change the freaking world. That's what matters today. And with him,
yeah.
anything is possible. And well, you
Yes.
can't believe in neuroscience and God as well. What? That's the reason why. So God gives us all this stuff that we don't understand. So the neuroscience say, hey, look at this. Look how we can change
Yes.
this here. Do you think it just happens out of thin air? Look what we can do here. It backs up the God and everything that God will do for us, But man, life could be so good, man. 10 out of 10 every day. All my guys are. If anyone comes in here at 9 out of 10, I send them home. Why the hell have you got? Well, I did a talk every Saturday morning for these homeless guys in a big shelter. Every Saturday morning, I'd go in and do a book study with them for 2 hours. My father died on the Thursday night as I was going in on the Saturday morning. I walked in there, I killed it. They was like, man, you're amazing. Standing ovation. And I come out. My sponsor said, you okay? My father died, 2 days ago. What? What? Why did you could have canceled. Why didn't you tell me? It's nobody's business what I'm going through. My job is to inspire people, whether they're homeless or a billionaire. It doesn't make any, to inspire. You think I'm going to go in, oh, by the way, my dad died. That's not going to help anybody. That's for me and God to sort out, or me and my therapist, or whatever it is to sort out. You looking there waiting for Dr. Rob to come on to inspire you today. Inspire you. So every time you open your mouth, guys, you have to inspire. Once you get into, oh, Jimmy over there, oh, there's your relapse. Whatever it is you're suffering from, it's right there. Because if you want to walk around all your life dissing other people and being mad and, all that crazy stuff, then great, great. God bless you. But it's not for me. And it's not what God wanted for me and millions and millions and millions and billions of people on this planet. Is wake up, man. The iPad's not going to give it to you. The brand new car's not going to give it to you, man. Where do you think it comes from? Think about it real deep.
Yeah.
Real deep, and you realize that you can see his fingerprints all around you, man. Open your
Oh
eyes.
yeah. Dr. Rob, this has been amazing. We didn't even get into childhood trauma as deep as I wanted to. So we'll have to have you back at some point. Just amazing, incredible story, tons of knowledge. Where should people go if they want to connect with you?
I spell name with two B's, guys. If you're listening, not watching, ROBBKELOY.com. Go to have some fun on the website. Now you will see a thing called a breath box on there. It's a 9-dimensional subliminal messaging software that we can do online or in the studio that will change your life. Change your life. Just look into it. The other thing that my daughter said to me was, Daddy, please stop drinking. Don't buy the book. Okay. I'll give 10 copies away. If you mention this show or any of us, I'll send you this. I'll sign it personally to you. I'll pay the shipping and everything. Don't buy it off Amazon. We don't get paid any money anyway. It goes straight to a third party, a homeless shelter. But yeah, if you want a copy signed, just let me know. And we'll do that, guys. And just the last thing to finish on. If you were in that place where we just talked about, the suicidal place, the thing that you can't go on anymore and you just life's come to an end, 214-600-0210 is my personal cell phone number. Don't text to say hi, I'm crazy busy. But if you're in that place, I want you to text that number, guys, and here's what's going to happen. I'm going to text you back immediately and arrange to talk to you for 15 minutes. I'm going to give you a life-changing subliminal talking to that will change your life and uplift you. And if you do that and you go, I don't know too much, I'll send you $100 for wasting your time. You see, I'm one of those guys with his feet in the trenches, despite what you see from the outside. I'm not that guy. I'd rather give you 15-minute pep talk than hear of your suicide next week.
We will put links to all that in the show notes. Thank you, Dr. Robb. Appreciate you. This was fantastic.
Thank you, man.